Hello, fictional. Welcome to the What If Essay. Today we are gonna see what if Issei was the Wannabe Harem King. Part 1. If you end up liking this video, please consider subscribe, so without further ado, let's get into the video. Life was going great since the battle with the vanishing dragon. Having all the club girls move in made me go down to the closest hardware store for some screws and a lock for my door. Which helped until someone started asking Kaneko to kick the door down. Which is not fun to try to explain to my parents. I finally gathered enough guts to ask the president to be my girlfriend. I was so happy. But when we announced it to the club, I think the thunderbolt that hit me in the back shortly after meant that some people, not naming who, wasn't very taken by the new development. The day in training I decided to practice with Albion against Kiba and Zenobia. That didn't end well. I think I'll try just doing some drills by myself. Asia didn't mind healing the cut down my backside though. It would have been pretty uncomfortable to sit down with that. Back in the club room we were having a heated debate. I am not getting rid of my finisher move just because we are a couple now, president. I said angrily. Ara, let him keep it, president. What harm can it do? Smiled Akeno, sticking up for me. Akeno, you're not like that when I use it on you now, are you? You're not the one who has to put up with your clothes being ripped off whenever you're in Mr. Pervert's room. I mean, do you know how many school uniforms I've gone through just because of it? I just try to save you the trouble of undressing, president. Rias shook her head. I love her crimson hair even more when she does that. I guess a pervert doesn't change. Keep it, Issei. But the next time you use it on me or in my presence, it will be 1,000 spankings for you. And you know how fun that is. I rubbed my backside remembering that. Yes, president. Then we heard a mini explosion from out east. There was a boy, about my age, cornered by two shady looking figures. We only want your sacred gear, boy. Hand it over and experience no pain. The first one said. Never. What? That boy had a sacred gear. Azazel will be all over that. President, we need to help him. What if they kill him? No. Let us see how he fights. If he needs help, we help. She replied. I went back to looking at what was happening. The boy now had two dark blue gauntlets on his hands. Get ready for the thunder, you two. The boy shouted as he charged at them. Every time a punch made contact against one of the men, a spark flashed. What was that? One of the men fell down, spasming uncontrollably. The other one pulled out a long katana. I guess I'll have to slice you up then. No one ever gives their sacred gears to me. There could be much less blood if they did. The boy shot a bolt of lightning at the man's head just as the katana was pushed into his stomach. The man was electrocuted instantly. The boy fell to the ground coughing up blood. Asia, Issei, come on. The president shouted as she ran downstairs. We followed her. Help please. The boy asked weakly. He pulled the sword out. Asia, heal him. I shouted. No. I think he could be a good rook for us. I will turn him into a devil. She walked over to him. What is your name? He coughed. Hyoudou Kenshi. From now on, Hyoudou, you shall live for me. Be reborn as my servant devil and as my rook. The next day, I woke up to find President's ape in my face. I guess nothing changes. I must take advantage of this, I thought, a perverted smile on my face. I slowly started to caress her wonderful big ape and I heard a moan. I smiled again. Issei asked President as she yawned. I wasn't doing anything. I shouted, quickly taking my hands away. I know what you were doing. Feel free to continue, I was quite enjoying that. Want permission to touch her ape, this is gonna be fun. What should I do first? My nose must be bleeding right now. If you say so, president, I guess I have to. I almost got to start doing whatever I wanted to her ape and then the goddamn door got kicked down again. Thanks, Kaneko. Asia smiled. Wake up, you two. Breakfast is ready. She said, walking back out and downstairs. Why does this always happen to me, I muttered. President sat up and started putting underwear on. Training starts on the new rook today, Issei. I hope you will help him like you helped Gasper. Of course. I'm happy to help. Speaking of that, does that mean your evil pieces are now all taken up? She sighed. No, Issei, actually they are not. I still have one more rook left. How? I thought you only get 15 evil pieces. She started putting her uniform on. Issei, if I tell you this, you mustn't breath a word to anyone. I'm serious. I promise I won't, president. Okay, when I was small and my brother started his peerage, I was fascinated by the glowing red chess pieces. I took one, a rook, just by chance and kept it to myself. She sat on the bed again. I quickly put my uniform and sat back down next to her. Your brother didn't notice. He did. But he simply got a new one. He thought it had been lost. But I had it. I loved it so much I don't know why. I eventually lost track of it. When my peerage started and I was given my evil pieces, it appeared somehow under my pillow. I realized it was a huge advantage. I kept it to myself. So there is still someone to join our ranks then? Yes. Awesome. I kissed her on the cheek. Come on, we should eat now, I said as I took her down and we headed downstairs. Back in the club room, we were meeting our new rook again. His name was Hyoudou Kenshi. He had black messy hair and hazel eyes. He was pretty tall and looked quite athletic. He better not become more popular than me. Nice to meet you all. I'm so happy to be part of something after all this time, never being able to settle down. You're welcome here, buddy. We have your back, I replied. He bowed and President stepped forward. My name is Rias Gremory, head of the Occult Research Club and your new master. You will call me President from now on, okay? Yes, President. He bowed again. Hello. My name is Akeno Himejima. Ultimate sadist, President's queen chess piece and the priestess of thunder. Nice to meet you, she smiled. Did she never stop smiling? Nice to meet you too, Akeno. Should I call you that? Or Vice President? Or Miss Himejima? Was he getting flustered? Akeno just smiled. Oh my god, is her face just stuck like that? Hey, I'm Hyoudou Kiba, the President's knight. Call me Kiba. Our other rook is on the sofa, she's Kaneko Taoju. She doesn't speak much though. Our other knight is currently training, along with our bishops. You will meet them soon. They are all delightful people. The President said. And I guess that leaves me. Hey, my name is Issei Hyoudou. I'm President's pawn, holder of the sacred boosted gear and the Wannabe Harem King. I exclaimed, showing him my dragon arm and just showing off. Also the world's biggest pervert, Kaneko added. I rubbed the back of my head as Hyoudou laughed. Thanks for destroying my bedroom door and my coolness, Kaneko. God, you can be annoying. I guess it's my turn now. Hello everyone, my name is Hyoudou Kenshi. I am holder of the lightning gear. I'm 16 years of age and now a devil. Ah, how life changes, he chuckled. Issei? Yes, President. We need to get Hyoudou enrolled. Can you accompany him and also show him around the school, please? Of course, President. Come on, Hyoudou. I will show you the school, I replied and smiled at Hyoudou. Maybe this guy could be a good friend. I sure hope so. And also I want to find out more about his sacred gear. Could it be the blue dragon? Issei was showing me around the school as we went to the enrollment office. On our way there, we saw a huge group of girls. Ah, great, Issei sighed and hung high head down. What's up, Issei? I asked. Hey look. Perv boy is with a new kid. One of girls said, pointing at us. New kid, get away from Hyoudou before he infects you with pervertness. Will you guys shut up? Issei shouted. I just laughed. Come on, Hyoudou, let's get out of here. We took another way to the office. At least this way there were no mobs of girls waiting to pounce on us. Don't worry about it, Issei. I don't judge people. To be honest, I'm kinda perverted too. Really? Well, not as much as you, but it's there, I smiled. We finally got to the enrollment office. We met a girl named Sona and explained the situation. She agreed and told me what class I'd be in. Thanks, Sona, Issei said after everything was done. Yes, thank you, I added. We left and Issei showed me the training grounds. I saw 3 girls doing sprints and testing out magic spells and stuff. Are those the other pieces President was talking about? Yeah. Let's go and meet them, he started going over to them. Come on. I followed him. I saw 2 blondes, one of them sat down, the other holding a ball suspended in midair, and a girl with blue hair practicing with quite a big sword. It looked like it was emitting golden light. Asia, Zenobia, Gasper. Oh hey, Issei. Exclaimed Asia happily. Everyone meet Hyoudou, he's our newest member and our second rook. Nice to meet you all. My name is Hyoudou Kenshi. Welcome, Hyoudou. I'm Asia Argento. That's Zenobia Quarta, and wait, where's Gasper? New people are scary. I heard being shouted from a box. That's Gasper. Gasper Vladi. He's kind of a scaredy cat. Don't worry, he'll get used to you. Ready to train? Bring it on, I smiled. Lightning gear. Boosted gear. And so, the training began. Wow, Issei plus BOOSTX 10 equals trouble. Evening time, Issei had invited me over to spend the night at his, so I didn't have to spend the night in a bedroom at the club building. Thanks, Issei, this means a lot to me. No problem. Plus, I kinda need a night without Rias using me as a pillow, I can barely move. We both laughed. I got settled down on the floor and before I knew it, I was out cold. The last thing I remember is Issei locking the door and turning the light off. Boy, that training had worn me out. I woke up at 5 AM hearing a large bang from somewhere in the house. Was I the only one who had noticed it? I quietly got out of bed, unlocked the door and looked down the hall. There was a light on downstairs. I summoned my lightning gear and slowly made my way down. I looked into the kitchen and saw Asia getting a glass of water. Thank goodness, it's just you, I said, relieved. Oh. Hyoudou. Sorry if I woke you up, I knocked into something on my way here. I'm extremely clumsy, you see, she replied, looking down at her feet with a slight blush on her face. It's fine. I wasn't having a very good night anyway. Why are you up at this time? I just couldn't sleep, so I came down here to get a glass of water. Mind if I join you? I asked. I was pretty thirsty. No, not at all, she smiled. I went over to the cupboard and took a glass, I filled it up and took a sip. So how do you find being a devil? She asked. It's awesome, but weird at the same time. Like, right now I feel over-energetic. But yesterday throughout the whole day, I just wanted to sleep. Yeah, it was like that for me too. But you'll get used to it. I barely notice it now. We talked for another 20 minutes until we both felt much more tired. When Asia was about to go back to her room I said, don't worry about waking Issei up tomorrow. He told me how you're like a second alarm clock. She blushed again. I'll wake him up for you tomorrow, okay? Thanks Hyoudou. Sleep tight, she said as she smiled and went back into her room. I returned to Issei's and got back into bed. Need to wake Issei up tomorrow, don't forget. And I fell asleep once again. The following morning, at a time suitable to wake up, Issei, get up. Breakfast is ready and you're not even dressed. He covered his face in his pillow. I summoned lightning gear and shocked him. Hey, what was that for? Get up lazy bones, I replied. The school day went by like a blur. Once everyone had left and it was now dark, I was doing the most amazing devil job ever, handing out flyers. Epic music plays in background. Yes, I was on my bike, cycling around town, delivering flyers to those who ask for devil services. I.e. greedy people. These flyers are like wish slips. If you wish hard enough, a devil from our club will appear through a magic circle to grant you that wish. But, as President said, different lives have different value. By the time I had finished, I was drenched in sweat and needed a shower. I got back to the club room and asked President if I could use her shower. She agreed and said that she would leave the room to make me feel more comfortable. I bowed and thanked her. Once she had left, I stripped down and got in. The shower was like heaven. I must have been in there for about 15 minutes. I dried off and put some underwear on, along with my trousers. I called President in again as I was putting a shirt on. And then Akeno walked in and I just stood there, mesmerized by her beautiful face. Hyoudou? Yes, President. Please do your shirt up. I'm not saying you don't have a nice chest, but Akeno might pounce on you if you don't. I blushed and buttoned my shirt up. Oh, President, I was enjoying that view. I blushed even more. I must have looked like a tomato. Not the best look in my opinion. I'll be taking my leave now. Thanks for letting me use the shower, President. See you both tomorrow, I said as I left. I think he likes you, Akeno. He seems your type too, I said. Yes. I think so too. She sighed. Maybe there could be something there, but it's too early to say. I will need to observe them together further. Issei offered Hyoudou to stay in his room again. But before Hyoudou could reply, Akeno said that he could stay with her so we could have the night together. Which was surprisingly nice of her, even for her to be my best friend. I was really tired, so straight after dinner I went upstairs to Issei's room to go to bed. He shortly followed and got in next to me. I kissed him and whispered in his ear, I think you should take my virginity tonight, Issei Hyoudou. He went silent. I looked at him and saw his eyes full of glee and his nose spouting blood. I wiped the blood away and started kissing him more passionately. I knew he was back in this world when he started kissing me back. He flipped me onto the bed so that he was on top. He wrapped his arms around me as I cast a spell on the door. No one, and I mean no one, is interrupting this. Issei and Rias went to bed early. Which left Asia helping Zenobia with some homework, Gaspar and Kaneko playing a board game, Issei's parents watching TV, and me and Hyoudou talking to each other. I learned so much about him. How his parents had died when he was only a baby, how he had never been able to live somewhere for more than 3 months because of those now dead devils hunting for his sacred gear, how he loved anime and video games. I couldn't stop asking him things. I wanted to know more. Eventually we went upstairs to my room. He started making a bed on the floor. Dufu, don't sleep on the floor. Sleep in my bed. I can assure you it's much comfier than the cold hard floor. I smiled at him and he smiled back. If you insist. He stopped laying out the bed and got changed into a t-shirt and pajama bottoms and got into bed. Wow, I haven't slept in a proper bed in forever. It's like heaven. I smiled. I'm going to get changed quickly. Can you help me with my bra? I asked, slightly blushing. Sure. He got up and I turned around. He unclipped it and turned away. Feel free to look if you want. I don't mind, I said, putting my arm on his shoulder. No, I'm fine. I don't want you to think I'm a pervert. I smiled at his reply. He has more pride than Issei, that's for sure. I put on my purple nightie and got into bed. He got in next to me. Good night then. Oh, he's nervous, how cute. I slowly got closer to him and pressed my chest against his arm. I heard him inhale sharply. Akeno. Your oppai. Do you like them? Yes, they are really soft, I smiled. Can I tell you something? I think I'm falling for a boy. He's tall, he's got black hair and hazel eyes, he likes anime well, in other words you. I saw his eyes widen as I got on top of him and kissed him. He had lovely lips. He started kissing back. He was good. Has he done this before? I put my hands in his hair and flipped him on top of me. Is it time? Yes, I think it is. I woke up the next morning. It was 8:43 a.m. How had my alarm not gone off? Oh yeah, it's Saturday. Woo. Anyway. Akeno's head was on my chest. My bare chest. And her chest was pressed against my arm. Her bare chest. I checked under the covers, I was nude. Last night wasn't just a wet dream, so I'm no longer a virgin. Wait. I'm no longer a virgin. Was I good enough? Did I hurt her? Did we use protection? I just can't believe it actually happened. Look at how peaceful she is, she's so beautiful when she sleeps. I kissed her forehead. Then Asia walks in. Breakfast is ready UTW, she went red. I'll save you both some, she said in a quiet voice, and then ran out of the room. All I heard after was shouting from downstairs. Thanks Asia, for telling everyone. Good morning Hyoudou, Akeno muttered sleepily as she curled into me more. Hey, sleepyhead. Breakfast is ready. Do you want to get up yet? Maybe in a little. Her eyes closed again. Is my chest that comfy? I too decided to go back to sleep again. About an hour later, Akeno woke me up. She was already dressed. Get up you, she smiled. I got out of bed, not remembering I was already naked. I fell back and scrambled back into bed. Akeno giggled. Don't be silly. We've already seen each other naked. But if it makes you feel comfortable, I'll wait downstairs. She smiled at me. I blushed. Thanks. She went downstairs and I got dressed. I planned on asking Akeno out for lunch, on a proper date. So I put on my favorite black jeans and a simple dark blue shirt. I then went downstairs. Akeno and I sat next to each other and everyone, and I mean everyone, was staring at us. Uncomfortable much? Finally, Issei helped us out and got everyone having conversations about what they would do this weekend. Akeno. Yes Hyoudou. Would you like to go out for some lunch with me later? On me of course. She smiled. That would be great. Do you want to go shopping too? I'll get you something, my treat, she winked. Sounds great. About 1 o'clock we leave. Yeah okay, she smiled again and kissed me. Her kisses were like the most amazing things in the world. That and her eye of course. 1 o'clock came pretty quickly and Akeno and I had just left. Wait up you guys. Shouted Issei, running up to us. Do you guys want a double date with us tonight? He asked, sucking in air. I looked at Akeno. That sounds great Issei. It was Ria's idea, I'm guessing. Actually, I thought of it, Issei replied, looking proud of himself. We will organize it later, okay? He said. We both nodded and headed into town. We decided to work up an appetite before getting food, so we hit the shops first. I always go to my favorite video game shop whenever I go shopping, so Akeno and I went there first. I bought a new Legend of Zelda game, and Akeno bought a Game Boy and Pokémon Yellow. Then, she took me to her favorite clothes shop. She wanted to model loads of stuff for me. All I know is that there was this one dress that she looked stunning in. It was strapless and pure white, and it showed her legs from the knees down. Do you like it? Hyoudou? Hyoudou. Oops, I was too focused on looking at her I didn't hear anything. Yeah, it looks amazing. She smiled. Yay. I'll get this one. She went back into the dressing room, got changed again and brought the dress out. Right, time to find you something. Wait, what? I did say I'd get you something silly, don't you remember? She grabbed my hand and took me into the men's section. I tried on loads of stuff just like Akeno. In the end she bought me a dark blue hoodie with a Cookie Monster face on it. It looks great on you. She said. When I looked into the mirror, it did look pretty great, especially with my jeans. We went through a couple of other clothes shops, a sweet shop and the Disney store to get Gasper something. He loved Mickey Mouse. After all that we went for lunch. I took her to my favorite Italian place. We ordered a medium-sized pizza with ham, pepperoni, spiced beef, peppers, sweet corn and pineapple. It was really good. We went back home at about 5 o'clock and went upstairs again to put our new stuff away. Issei's parents agreed to let me live with Akeno in her room, as it was basically the only room not being shared. After that, we both got a shower, not at the same time, and got ready for dinner. I was going to wear my new jumper and some black skinny jeans. Akeno was wearing her new dress. Damn, did she look stunning. Me and Issei were talking downstairs as we waited for the girls to get ready. So did you and Akeno actually, you know? I blushed. Yeah, we did. Didn't you and President also? Then it was his turn to blush. That said it all. I wonder when they will be ready, I muttered. And speak of those devils, there they came down the stairs. Both of our jaws dropped. Akeno was wearing the dress she bought today, but the way she had done her makeup made her look like she radiated eternal beauty. Rias was wearing a long black dress that came down to her ankles, with a long slit one of the sides, and a crimson red interior. She looked simply amazing. Issei thought the same. I'm sure his down parts thought the same too. There was quite a bulge coming from that area. You look absolutely stunning, I said to Akeno as I rose and took her hand. Wow, President, I don't know what to say. Your pants seem to know, Akeno replied, making Issei go redder than a tomato. Both of you, for tonight just call me Rias, okay? Of course, replied Issei. Shall we go? I asked, locking my arm with Akeno's. Yes, we shall, she replied. We said goodbye to everyone and left. We arrived at the restaurant about 20 minutes later. It was a very high-class one too. Only the best for them, Issei had said. We were going to pool our money together to pay. We all ordered drinks and then our food. I was having a steak with peppercorn sauce, Issei was having a tuna burger, Rias was having a tuna steak, and Akeno was having scallops. We all talked and laughed and made jokes until our food came. We all ordered another drink and got stuck in. It was delicious. I tried some of Akeno's scallops and she tried some of my steak. Scallops aren't really my thing, I don't think. Issei offered me a piece of his burger, which was amazing. He thought the same of my steak. Rias got defensive of her food when Issei asked, so the only one who got to try some was Akeno. Once our plates were cleared, we ordered dessert. Me and Akeno were sharing a chocolate brownie with vanilla ice cream. Issei ordered a strawberry cheesecake and Rias ordered a mango sorbet. I couldn't believe how good that brownie was. I was going to remember that brownie for years to come. Now both Rias and Issei got protective of their food. They only shared between them. I guess I'll try the cheesecake next time then. We headed home at about 11 p.m. Me and Akeno said goodnight to the others and went straight to bed. I myself was tired and so was Akeno. It was warm tonight, so I slept topless and just with a pair of pajama shorts. Akeno slept fully nude. Issei had told me how neither of them can really sleep unless they're naked. Did you like last night? I hope I wasn't bad, I whispered in Akeno's ear. Well, it's just that no, I won't say. Please tell me, oh my god, did I do something wrong? Am I a dad? Now I'm panicking, someone help. She kissed me on the lips. I'm joking. Everything was fine. I really enjoyed it. Oh, and don't worry. You won't be a father yet. We used protection, remember? I calmed down. Okay, now I can sleep peacefully, I said as I settled down. She got in next to me and curled into my chest again. I put my arms around her and cuddled her. What should we do, Tomro? I asked. Let's just chill out. We do have homework, you know. Crap. Homework? Why do you ruin my life? I kissed her and closed my eyes. This was the start of us. I just knew we would be together, till death do us part. The next morning, I woke up at 10:47 a.m. and groaned. I had 3 goddamn assignments for Monday. I woke Akeno up and received a spark in my face for my troubles. I leave her to it. I went downstairs after getting dressed and had breakfast. Then the dreadful homework began. I spent 4 hours doing all those assignments. I better get good marks. I decided to start playing my new game until dinner. Akeno sat next to me on the sofa and started watching TV. Why can't weekends just not end? We had dinner and watched some TV for a couple of hours before going to bed. Tomorrow was another school day. Odd, if you're there, please. Kill me now so I don't have to go to school. I got a headache for that. F this. Akeno kissed me, and that brought me back to my senses. Wanna have a little fun before we go to bed? She asked, a mischievous smile on her face. She lifted her Game Boy up. Let's do this, I replied. This was gonna be Hyoudou. Pokemon all the way, baby. Hyoudou skipped school today. Probably because he was up until 5 a.m. playing Pokemon. I'm surprised that Akeno didn't stay off too. She said they stayed up together, so I decided to tell Motohama and Mitsuda that I was dating President, and then they both tried to crush my skull. What a great way to start the day. They also decided to spread that piece of information around the class. Of course no one believed them. So when President came in to get me and kissed me on the lips, all hell broke out. She took me to the club room where everyone was. And some other tall man with sort of long black hair. Issei. This is Rias Kenshi. He is my brother. Hyoudou interrupted. He was Hyodou's brother, but Hyoudou said his family died. Yes, I am his brother. I have come here to take him into my peerage. And I already said. I'm not going. So get out of here before I break your F-King face. Hyoudou. Control your anger. Now. He's your brother. And he killed our parents. Everyone looked at Rias. Yes, I killed our parents. Only because they won't let me take him under my peerage. You also sent those men after me. They pretty much killed me, you know. Yeah, well, if you weren't going to join my peerage, I wanted your gear. So are you going to join me or will I have to kill you in front of your little friends? President stepped in front of Hyoudou. I went to her side. Akeno went on the other. No one touches my servant. I ask you to leave, Mr. Kenshi, or I will have to remove you myself. He laughed. You may be the little sister of the great Mao-sama, but I assure you, you are no match for me. Now, get out of my way. The force that came out of his voice made me want to believe him. Hey, douchebag. Talk to her like that again and I'll balance break your backside. I summoned my boosted gear. Akeno turned to her battle self. Touch my boyfriend and I'll kill you. She said cheerfully, smiling at Rias. Brother. Get out of here or I won't hold back. I saw his gauntlets appear. I too know how to balance break, older brother. Me and Issei would be no chance for you. Let's have a rating game then. You win, I leave you all alone. I win, I leave you all and take Hyoudou with me. Deal? President showed no hesitation in accepting. But beware Kenshi. Touch any of my servants before the rating game and I'll have your head. He simply smiled. Then he stepped into a magic circle and disappeared. Eyes you didn't have to accept. I would have killed him. President smiled. You're my servant Hyoudou. She hugged him and put his face in her opai. Oh yeah, sorry Akeno. That's your job now, isn't it? Oh it's alright Rias. Just this once. She winked. After all this I saw Hyoudou leave with tears in his eyes. President, should I go after him? Yes. Please do. But take him out. Don't take him home, okay? I nodded and left. I found Hyoudou on a corner block just 5 minutes away from school. He was crying and looking at something on his phone. I went over. Hey you okay? He wiped his tears. Yeah it's just hard you know. He killed them, he tried to kill me, I just hate him. He punched the wall behind him and left a hole. Come on. Let's go to the arcade. It'll help you forget about all this. He nodded and we went off to the arcade. I was going to kick his brother's ass this rating game. No, we were going to kick his ass. For Hyoudou. We were at the arcade for about 3 hours. Hyoudou was enjoying himself. Looks like I'm being a good friend then. After the arcade we went for hamburgers at our favorite fast food place. It's Valentine's Day Tomro, Hyoudou said quietly, eating his burger. I facepalmed. I haven't got a present for President. Hyoudou laughed. I haven't got one either. Let's go shopping after this. We finished and looked around the shops for things that they might like. Hyoudou decided on a simple but elegant cream-colored kimono with a pink blossom tree on the right side. It looked like it would go well on Akeno. He paid and we went to look for something for President. I decided on a black lace underwear set, a huge box of chocolate, President loves chocolate, and a bouquet of roses. Hyoudou also bought some roses and a box of chocolate. After that we went home. Hyoudou went straight to bed. Akeno shortly followed to check on him. President sat on my lap as we watched TV. Her ass is so soft. Then Zenobia came over. I'm still waiting to make a baby Issei. Zenobia, I'm not going to make a baby with you. I agree. The only person he will make a baby with is me. So you're out of luck there. Maybe find another guy. Asia stormed over. It's not fair. I love Issei too. We've been living together longer than you both. She shouted, jumping onto me. I put my head in my hands. I got up, pushing the girls on the sofa. I'm going to bed. Good night everyone. I went upstairs and got in bed. President came up about 15 minutes later. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. Wanna go out for dinner, just the two of us? I asked. Sounds wonderful, she smiled. She snuggled into me and I turned the light off. I love you, President, I whispered. I love you too, Issei, she whispered back. The next morning, I woke up to find myself alone in bed. There was a present on Issei's desk. I got up naked and went over. There was a ginormous box of chocolates, a bouquet of flowers and a white box wrapped in a red bow. I checked the tag. Love Issei, the unstoppable pawn. I smiled. Issei can be so big-headed sometimes. I opened the box and found a black bra and panties with no wiring. The detail was amazing. It looked very sexy. I decided to put it on. I then got into my uniform. Downstairs, Issei and Hyoudou were talking in hushed tones. What are you two talking about? They both shot up. Nothing. Nothing to concern you. Issei replied with a scared look on his face. He then came over and kissed me. Happy Valentine's Day, beautiful. Would you like some tea, lovingly prepared by Hyoudou? Of course, that would be splendid. I replied, kissing him back. But I still want to know what you both were talking about. I walked over and sat down next to Hyoudou. Issei passed me some tea. It was lovely. Then Asia and Zenobia came downstairs, shortly followed by Akeno and Kaneko. Now that everyone is here, I have an announcement. Tomorrow we will be going to our lovely villa once again for training. Issei, Kaneko, Asia and Akeno, you all know the spot. The school will not mind thanks to Sona. So I want everyone to pack tonight. Now, go and enjoy Valentine's Day. Akeno came over and whispered something in Hyodou's ear, then kissed him on the cheek. Hyoudou blushed and sipped his tea. We all had breakfast and headed off to school together. The whole Hyoudou and Akeno thing had not yet been released to the school. So seeing them holding hands and talking as they walked into school was a big shock. Rumors spread like wildfire. I also saw a rather cute boy giving Asia a card and a rose. Asia blushed and ran off. Love is so cute. School was pretty boring. Club was cancelled tonight so we could pack. Kibo also came over to our house. Later on, Issei and I went out for dinner again. We had lots of fun and even got a discount because it was a couple's night. As we were walking home, we were talking about training. How do you think Hyoudou will hold up with the hike? Issei asked. Pretty well, actually. I've seen him in his athletics class and he has very high stamina. But the weight might be a bit tough for him. If you did it, I'm sure he can. Hey. I wasn't that weak. Issei stated, getting annoyed. I laughed and kissed him. You so were. No, I wasn't. But you were. You were like a little puppy. So cute. I wasn't. This continued even at home. Both Kiba and Kaneko were on my side. Akeno and Asia must have took pity on him though. Hyoudou just laughed through the whole thing. Eventually Issei got fed up and went to bed. I said goodnight to everyone and followed. We're just messing around, you don't have to get so insulted. I shouted as I walked in. He was obviously upset. I sat next to him and put my hand on his. Hey. You weren't weak. You just didn't have your full potential. Don't worry about it. He looked at me and kissed me, wrapping his arms around my waist. I started kissing back and put my arms around his neck. We fell onto the bed and laughed. Let's get some sleep. We have a big day tomorrow, you know. He agreed and we got into bed. We both fell asleep shortly after. Issei didn't unwrap his arms from me the whole time we slept. He loves me. And I love him. I woke up. Only 20 minutes till I had to be out of bed. Today after school we would be heading off to our personal villa to start training. Let's hope this is a good day. I turned around. Akeno was still sleeping peacefully. Naked as always. She said that she can't sleep otherwise. Well, no complaints from me. But, I was naked too. So something obviously happened last night. Why can I never remember though? I checked my phone and read my messages. Nothing new. Today should be a nice boring day. I got up, got into my uniform and kissed Akeno on the cheek. Then I headed downstairs. Only Issei's mum, or mom for you Americans, was up. I still didn't know her well enough to call her mum, but she still considered me one of her own. I sat down at the table. Morning dear. Would you like some tea? Please, that would be lovely. She passed me a cup. It smelled lovely and tasted that way too. I thanked her and finished the cup. I went upstairs to take a shower. By the time I had finished, most people were up and breakfast was almost ready. So I towel dried my hair and went back downstairs. I ate quickly and went to school. Akeno managed to catch up to me and we walked together. Did you enjoy last night? She asked, a sly smile on her face. I can't remember anything. Last thing I can remember is getting into bed and you getting in next to me. She looked down. Oh. I put my arm around her. I'm sorry. If I could remember I'm sure I would have enjoyed it. Don't get down about it, okay? She looked at me and I kissed her. I spent most of the day trying to remember what actually happened. In my last hour, I started to feel sick. I was allowed to go to the bathroom. I decided to pass through Akeno's homeroom to see if she was there. She was, but the guy with her obviously wasn't happy about something. I slowed down. The guy went into a rampage and shoved Akeno against the locker, pinning her arms up. Hey. What the FK do you think you're doing? I shouted at him. No one touches my girlfriend. Oh look. It's Hyoudou Kenshi. You see, I disapprove of your relationship. Before you came along, Akeno loved me. But now, she's gone all crazy for you. So, I thought I would take her first time, so that if you ever gathered the guts to FK her, she would feel guilty for it not being her first time. But maybe it's better for you to watch. Maybe you can masturbate to it after. This guy was seriously pissing me off. I already know Akeno loved Issei, so where is this bull coming from? So you just sit there and watch, okay? His hand rose to her oppai. Hell no, is he touching them? You can learn like this, you know. He said. Akeno tried to move away as his hand touched her oppai. Then, a switch flicked in my head. The switch that comes only when I'm just at the limit of my anger. Before I could even do anything, I had the guy by the throat. I slammed him onto the floor. He tried to grab me, but I stomped on his other hand. He squealed like a pig. I picked him up again by the neck and slammed him into a locker so hard it left a dent. My fist crunched against his nose and blood spurted. I kneed him in the stomach and he coughed up a little blood. You dare touch my girlfriend, I will make you regret it. I shouted, anger in my voice. He shook his head. His pitiful face made me want to hit him more. I pulled him towards me and whispered in his ear. Touch her again, no, touch anyone I care about and I will break every bone in your puny body. I let go of him and he ran off. I looked at myself. I had blood smeared on the fist I used to break his nose. My shirt also had blood splattered on it. I looked at Akeno. She looked shocked. But there was something else in her eyes. Fear. I had scared her. I ran off to the closest bathroom and threw up for about 10 minutes. I washed my hands off and tried to get the blood off my shirt, but it wouldn't budge. I'd need to discard it. Issei's mum would raise questions. At the end of the day, I grabbed a spare shirt from the club room and changed. I then threw away the blood-splattered one. I felt terrible. What had come over me? Of course he was touching my girlfriend's oppai, but I didn't have to go crazy on him. I got home late and received a talking to from president for delaying the trip. I got into new clothes and we headed off. Has Akeno told anyone yet? I was made to carry Akeno and Asia's luggage as well as my own. No biggie. We arrived later than planned thanks to me, so I went to bed without eating dinner. I don't know how long it was until Akeno came in. Hyoudou. I pretended to be asleep. She got in next to me and put her head on my chest. Thank you if you can hear me, I want you to know that I love you. She snuggled into me. I love you too, I whispered. I woke up the next morning. I thought President was going to get everyone up early to start training. No complaints from me. It was 7:36 a.m. My phone rang. It was Sora, one of my friends in class. Why are you calling at this unholy hour? I asked him. You're not at school. Was wondering where you are, that's all. I told you I'm going on a trip with my club, remember? Oh yeah. So you're still not up yet. Just woke up. Lucky anyway, whose villa are you staying in? The president's. That crimson hair girl, Rias Gremory. Yeah. The really hot one. Yeah. Any, but the huge op high. Yes. Boo. That goes out with Issei Hyoudou. Shut up. Akeno stirred. Great, now you've made me wake up, never mind. Boo. No one. Akeno yawned. Hyoudou. Is that you? You're in bed with Akeno, Sora asked, surprised. Yeah. And, so you're not a virgin anymore? Yeah, but that's not the. Oh my god, you had sex last night. No, but, so you are still a virgin? No, then you did oral. Shut up. The first time was like a week ago. Calm down. So you've done it other times too? Well yeah. How many? Like 2 or 3. So you're getting regular sex? Sort of. FK you man. You've been her for like what 2 weeks and your girlfriend is one of the great Wanisamas and you're getting regular sex. I'm just awesome. You can't change that. He put the phone down. Haha, my awesomeness is too much for him. Akeno sat up and cuddled me. I kissed her. Good morning, sorry for the rude awakening, I said. She smiled. It's fine. He seemed quite impressed with you. And no, you can't change how awesome you are. I blushed. Or cute. I blushed more. Or stupid. My blush disappeared and she giggled, then kissed me. We should go and find Rias. It's not right for her not to wake us up on training. I got dressed in some training shorts and a shirt. Akeno put on her training suit. I now have no issues with us changing in the same room. We went to the living room. Everyone was up apart from Issei and Rias. Weird. They woke up about an hour later. I don't think they were ready for any training. They were obviously hungover. And they didn't tell me about the alcohol. Wow. We did no training today. So not good. Hopefully they won't get drunk out of their minds again and we can start tomorrow. In our bedroom, Sora called again. What's up, Sora? Your fight incident is now all across the school. Great. I had almost forgot about that. So what? They're suspended for 3 days. Not only that, but now that douchebag and his group of idiots are after you. Watch your back. Let them come. You don't understand. Some of them look like they've taken steroids. You cannot be in a good position. Maybe not. Tell them to stay away. He laughed. I have your back the whole way, Hyoudou. Thanks, Sora. That means a lot. Well, I'm off to bed. Talk later, yeah? Sure. I hung up and got into a pair of pajama bottoms. Then I got into bed. Akeno got in after. You know that boy I beat up? Of course. What about him? His group of friends now want my head. Fufufu, the stuff you get into, just lay low, okay? Well, unless someone tries to touch your property. She winked and I smiled. I kissed her and laid down. She put her head on my chest. I was her favorite pillow, after all. After thinking about everything, I fell into sleep. Tomorrow I start training. There's no backing out now. I woke up, thankfully not hungover this time, at 6 a.m. Training was to begin. Ugh. We all met in the training ground about half an hour later. Okay everyone. We will be starting off with some duels. First up. Kiba and Hyoudou, president announced. They both stepped into the mini arena. Kiba summoned his holy devil sword, Hyoudou his lightning gear. And go. Kiba darted forward to Hyoudou, striking straight down. Hyoudou sort of turned into an electric screwball and shot into the air, then bursted backwards. That was new. Hyoudou charged electricity into his right fist and rocketed forward. Kiba blocked the attack with his sword, but I saw the electricity spark up his blade. He almost dropped it when the spark reached the hilt. He jumped back. Let's get serious then. Kiba shouted. His sword exploded into a combination of black and white flame. I heard Hyoudou curse. Kiba once again charged. Hyoudou waited for the strike and at the last moment put both his gauntlets up to block. The power was so immense, Hyoudou was slowly getting pushed back. Just as Kiba's power started to get weaker, Hyoudou shouted. Overload. His gear shouted. There was a huge flash and Kiba's flames were gone. He looked astounded. How? Hyoudou smiled and held up his hand. The black and white flames were dancing around in his palm. Ready? Uh-oh. Hyoudou threw the flames. Kiba didn't even try to block, he just jumped out of the way. But the blast still got to him and he hit a tree. Oh shit. Kiba. Hyoudou shouted as he ran over. We all followed. You okay? Here, lem help you, Hyoudou said, helping him up. That was some powerful stuff. How did you do that? I don't actually know. He had a confused look on his face. Once Kiba had his cuts treated, it was time for round 2. This was winner stays on, so Hyoudou was still up. Next round, Hyoudou and Kaneko. They both entered the arena. And go. It was mainly just an exchange of punches between the two. Wow, Hyoudou was experienced. How can he know to fight so well if he has only been training for about a week? Eventually, Kaneko found an opening. She jabbed into his belly and followed with a nasty kick that hit Hyoudou right in his private parts. He fell backwards, clutching his crotch and squealing. Sorry, wasn't aiming there. Kaneko apologized emotionlessly. We ran over. I couldn't stop myself from laughing as I helped him up. As soon as he was on his feet, he tried to take a step forward and sat back down, howling in pain. Asia tried to move his hands to heal him, but they wouldn't budge. Let me heal you. It's fine. No. Too embarrassing. Eventually Akeno managed to move his hand so Asia could work her magic. A couple of minutes later, and Hyoudou was fine. He sat down with Akeno to watch the next duel. Up next, Kaneko and Issei. Ah crap. I hope I don't end up like Hyoudou. After an intense 8 minutes of fighting, I had won. I am Suo Badass. I amazingly went on a winning streak. All I had to do now was beat Hyoudou. This should be fun. Okay people. Final match. Issei and Hyoudou. Let's make this fun and take bets. President announced. We both stepped into the arena. Issei? President asked. Yes. I want you to balance break. But you said, just do it. I give you permission. I took a deep breath. And go. Okay, come on Drag. Let's do this. Explosion. Balance break. I exploded into red light and reformed wearing my mighty dragon scale. Hyoudou's eyes widened and I smiled. Let's do this. I have to admit, I thought I was screwed. Every shot of demonic power he fired left craters in the ground. I eventually jumped into the air, turned into my screwball and fired towards him. Even with his scale, I could tell it had got through. But it had taken a chunk of my power. I fell to the ground in a crouched position. Come on lightning gear, show me what you're really made of. Overload. Lightning sparked around me in and out of my body. I need more. Say it. Who said that? Say it. You want power. I grant you it. You know what to say. But who are you? The dragon living inside you. I am Graffle, the mighty thunderstorm dragon. Now, say it. I jumped into the air and faced Issei. Balance break. Blue light covered me. I knew this power would come at a price. The pain was almost unbearable. Almost once the light had ended, there was no pain. I was suspended in the sky, covered in blue dragon mail. I had wings too. They were awesome. I can't describe them, they sorta look like the wings of the final boss in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, Taboo. Issei seemed surprised. He fired another blast of demonic power at me. But my wings covered me and absorbed the hit. When they opened, crazy supersonic waves were shot back at him. What the hell was that? Issei got blasted into the ground but got up easily. I pointed my hand at him and a giant storm cloud formed above. Lightning bolts rained down on him. He was once again blasted into the ground. The one thing I forgot about though this whole time was his boosts. He charged at me faster than I could see and we went tumbling. He was on top as we hit the ground. I overloaded the electric pulse going through my body and blasted it out. He flew back and hit a tree. This was getting intense. And my power was slowly depleting. I knew I couldn't keep this up for much longer. I jumped into the air again as he rose and summoned Albion, his dragon-killing sword. One shot. I closed my hands together and summoned as much power as possible. Once I had finished, I was holding a sword made purely out of lightning. Awesome. We charged at each other and our blades clashed. We both went for the core, a glowing gem on each chest. At precisely the same moment, we stabbed. And the world span. And we both fell to the ground, our scales disappearing. Not good. I felt my spirit leave the world. Albion stabbed at the glowing yellow jewel on his chest as his lightning sword stabbed into my green one. Something exploded. Our armor disappeared and we hit the ground. I was too exhausted to move. We were in a huge crater. Hyoudou looked like he had passed out. I managed to get up. President ran over to check if I was okay, then we went to see about Hyoudou. Akeno was on her knees beside him, along with Asia. She was feeling for a pulse and her eyes widened. There is nothing there, she said, once again checking for a pulse. There has to be. He can't be dead. Akeno shouted, tears forming in her eyes. I'm sorry, but there is no beat, he can't be alive. My eyes widened. Hyoudou was dead. End of the here. So that's it for today's video guys. Before you go, just like the video and share it with your friends. Bye.